Lecture 13, Phases of Blockchain Implementation. And next, I will now present to you the various phases of blockchain adoption in lecture 14. So, let us look at these listed benefits of blockchain, which indicate there is a wide range of domains in which blockchain can be adopted. So, what makes a blockchain so attractive to the organization? Citing a few points here, the adoption opportunities with blockchain among organizations. Basically, because it results in cost saving and enables improved resilience and security in a transactional system. There are new revenue sources like even cryptocurrency can be used. There are new economic and business models which can be used with the help of a blockchain. Blockchain also empowers end users by providing transparency and improves trust in the system. So if the users are going to be happy with the system, business will be better, and hence businesses can deploy or adopt a blockchain for expanding their operations. Blockchain also offers recording and reporting of data and activities in an immutable manner. That means the data once put onto the blockchain can never be deleted and it can only be added further. Blockchain has another advantage, that is the digital identity management, because it uses public key cryptography. Blockchain also provides a baseline mechanism for smart contracts, and thus it enables smart auditing. And as you can see that in organizations, compliance is a very important norm, and for compliance and smart audits will make it easier to carry out compliance. Now, after understanding the opportunities in blockchain adoption, we will next move on further to understand the challenges in adopting blockchain in any organization. So basically, there are some risks in blockchain adoption. So for example, organizations typically undergo a process of detailed feasibility study to understand all the risks involved before thinking of adopting the blockchain. So let's take an example, say, of an organization ABC Limited who is exploring blockchain technology as to whether it will really benefit its business. So the organization will set up its own internal team to study all the types of risks which are associated with the adoption. Now, the risks which can be looked at for a blockchain adoption could be divided into something like technology risks, regulatory risks, and the perception risks. So, what are technology risks? In terms of scalability, will the technology scale up? Shall we get the benefits of response time which we are getting now with the existing system? What about mining? What about consensus? How will it be achieved? How will cyber attacks be mitigated? Will the system be interoperable? What about flexibility? What if we have some changes in the way we work now? Will the system be flexible? Will the blockchain be able to adapt to the changes in the system organizational structure or the rules and regulations and the norms of the organization? So after looking at the technology risks, the ABC team, the adoption team will also look at regulatory risks in terms of government regulation. What are the evolving standards, and are we able to match it and use it in blockchain? Then there will be perception risks. Storage of blocks is done on peers. So what is the perception? Will the data be secure on a peer? Will it be always available? Will data integrity be maintained? And so on. So after the ABC Limited team goes through the study of all these risks and prepares a plan of how many of these risks can be mitigated, and will the organization still benefit from the adoption of blockchain, then they will prepare a proposal. Then they will put in a POC in place and see whether it will really benefit the organization. The main points from this particular about risks in blockchain adoption, the source has been listed below. More details about this will be available at that adaptation source. Now, next, let's look at how the various growing number of initiatives of blockchain across the world, and we'll briefly look at each of them so you have an idea as to know major countries across the world are looking at blockchain and implementing it in various different applications. On the top left, we start with Canada, where the federal government is considering the use of blockchain technology to deliver government services and enhance the security of the private information. There's another example in Canada, that is the Stock Exchange, which is hiring Bitcoin guru as a chief digital officer to study the potential of blockchain in the stock exchange field. In USA, the Federal Reserve is discussing the creation of blockchain based digital currency with IBM and wondering whether it can be really used. Linux Foundation leads 28 leading technology and financial firms to create an open source hyperledger blockchain standard. In Mexico, the Bank of Mexico is considering blockchain to create a digital version of peso. Honduras, the government is working with Factum to develop a blockchain land title record system. We'll be talking about land titles a little later in one of the government use cases. To move further on the other side, we start with Kenya below, where government has appointed the Bitcoin remittance startup BitPesa. He is a board member in the Kenyan Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology to explore the blockchain benefits in the government sector. In Nigeria, the government is proposing to regulate Bitcoin and monitor the exchange and gateways to fight money laundering. In France, there is an alliance which is exploring the real world use case of blockchain in fintech accelerator program. In UK, exploring blockchain record keeping, PwC has partnered with Blockstream and Eris Industries. They want to create a portfolio for financial institutions. In the European Union, EU, that is the European Central Bank, is assessing blockchain for banking services like payments, securities, settlement, and even collateral. Ukraine, so near the Russian border, government is planning to trial Ethereum blockchain-based election platform. So moving further to China, Alibaba is exploring blockchain for cloud service and to fight counterfeit products, which has created a menace in the online payments. And the online businesses and the supply chain and retail are impacted with the frauds, and blockchain can help to fight the frauds. People's Bank of China is looking at blockchain for digital currency. Dubai is also looking at blockchain, has established a blockchain council to promote technology in most of its government sector applications. Singapore, Monetary Authority of Singapore is launching Smart Nation initiative, and it's going to commit a large amount of funding to support fintech and blockchain innovations. Singapore DBS and SCB has launched a trade finance proof of concept using Ripple. Now Australian Stock Exchange is actively working on a technology transformation program which is going to employ blockchain to replace its equity settlement system. Another example in Australia is the government is seeking to end double taxation on Bitcoin and seeking new rules to govern the use of distributed ledger in financial services. So as you can look at the major applications, it is more about bank and the government sector. Hong Kong. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority is funding research into how the distributed ledger system can help to look at the controversial cryptocurrency and make the financial service sector safer and cheaper. South Korea. The Korea Stock Exchange has begun the preliminary step to develop blockchain trading platform, basically for the off-board dealers. In Japan, Fujitsu and Mizuho have completed a blockchain trial to streamline cross-border security transaction settlement. We'll be speaking about cross-border and transaction settlements later in the banking sector use cases. Another example in Japan is a financial services agency which is considering amendments to the legislation to include virtual currencies like Bitcoin so that it can be used as a typical normal currency. In Russia, the central bank is establishing blockchain working group to analyze and evaluate the potential applications of blockchain technology with finance. So you can look at the way the countries across the world are looking at adopting blockchain for either government, finance, or stock related applications. This is an image source which is given below, and we have taken this directly because this was giving a very nice example, a list of examples of various countries using blockchain. And this is one of the main slides which actually inspired and motivated us to come out with this entire course on only use cases. Now, to look at the various countries, even India is not behind. And there are states across the country which have announced various blockchain projects. So, for example, Telangana has initiated the land registration and data protection project, and both of them the POC is completed. Andhra Pradesh has proposed the blockchain project on land records, educational certificates, road transport license, KYC for hotel records. And many of these, some of them implementations are in process and implementations are being explored, or the RFP is issued and deployment is expected very soon. Maharashtra, land records POC is an ongoing project as of now. In Karnataka, IP management is being worked on and POC is soon expected. In Goa, focus is on land registry, feasibility is being explored. In Uttar Pradesh, land and revenue records are going to be looked at in blockchain deployment. In Gujarat, e-governance is being focused on. Apart from the states that have announced the blockchain projects in India, there is also a list of Indian industry consortiums which are working on blockchain projects. So, for example, in the insurance sector, we have a consortium of 19 life insurance companies coming together. Bank chain, we have a consortium of 37 banks from India and the Middle East coming together. In the automobile sector, the project is led by the Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, that is SIAM, and the Auto Components Manufacturers Association, that is ACMA. And all these consortiums are looking at adopting blockchain within the organization as well as across the consortium. So with these applications, we just have a quick recap of what we covered here. We started with the blockchain adoption, a few advantages of adoption of blockchain in organizations. Then we saw the risks in blockchain adoption and how the blockchain consultants would would prepare a list of risks and which can be mitigated later. We looked at the various growing number of blockchain adoptions across the world. And then we looked at the initiatives in India and the consortiums in India. After looking at the blockchain adoption in lecture 14, in 15, we give a quick recap of section 4, that is blockchain implementation, the build, operation and finalizing the type of blockchain, the phases of blockchain implementation and blockchain adoption. After completing section 4, in section 5, we will look at the introduction to blockchain use cases in terms of a brief introduction and categorization of blockchain use cases.